overlanding, rock crawling, and flying. Yeah, if you have the right rig, your backyard and beyond can be the coolest playground in town. And ever since I met my now fiance and hopefully soon to be wife, she's wanted to build the ideal overland off-road vehicle to hit the open road and go explore. And I think she wants to bring me along. At least that's the hope. And ever since I first met her, I've always wanted to surprise her with the ideal overland platform to make her dream a reality. And really the only issue was money. Overlanding is not cheap. But over the last 4 years, I've grinded as a full-time YouTuber, and we just recently hit a tipping point financially where I felt like I could confidently afford a monthly payment for her new dream rig. And so I thought the obvious answer would be Jeep, especially since she used to put on all the events for Camp Jeep at all the national auto shows. But when I started looking a few months ago, I was absolutely blown away by all the quality options from Ford, Land Rover, Toyota, and more. This was not gonna be an easy decision. So why did I pick that? Well, it was a really hard choice, and I want to take you through all the different flavors of overland ready rigs that I was considering putting my hard-earned YouTube monies on. And if you're new here, my name is Brad Danger. This is Ideal. Please subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and let's try to figure out if I picked the ideal overlanding platform. All right, buckle up. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to go talk with you about the different options I was thinking about getting instead of your Jeep. So I don't know, kind of let you know for the first time and see what your reaction would have been if something else was sitting in the driveway.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, and it sounds like a diesel. Okay, so we just rolled up in the Jeep, and yesterday was the day, it was the big reveal, and was that pretty cool that you got a Jeep?
It was more than cool.
I will link to that surprise video up here and also down in the description. There's a ton of emotion, and it was pretty much the coolest thing that I've ever done in my whole life for the most amazing person I've ever met. So the first obvious choice, which has really taken the internet and the enthusiast world by storm, is the all-new Ford Bronco. Specifically, the Bronco Overland concept that was revealed on the Badlands model in that beautiful Area 51 blue. And what I think is pretty cool is that it also had that high-performance off-road stability suspension, or HOS for short, which kind of rhymes with boss. Plus, it just looks so good with those 35s on it. And you know that I love me some Fords because I know how much you love that 68 California Special.
Ooh, she's pretty.
And I was just thinking that that blue Mustang next to the Area 51 blue Ford Bronco.
You do love blue vehicles.
Yeah, and I love Fords. And that Bronco is great and all, but there were two things that hit me right off the bat. The first is that it's the first year of this newest generation, and we still don't really know if it's worthy of a Jeep Wrangler replacement. And secondly, they're not available for like another year at least, and that's at the earliest if you pre-ordered. And I hate keeping secrets from this girl, and I don't think I could ever do it for that long. And the Ford Bronco, okay, it's the first model year of that new generation, and you don't want to...
First model years are tough for sure.
And why is that?
Because you don't know what's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And you hope that the engineers already fixed all the bugs, but you just don't know. Plus, you have to wait for all the manufacturers to create mods for it.
That's true. That is very true. And so, Ford Bronco instead of this. Did I do good?
You did good.
Okay, let's move on to the next vehicle then.
What's the next vehicle?
I'm glad you asked. And then for a quick nanosecond, I was thinking about the Gladiator, kind of the bigger brother of this thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked that it was bigger than the Wrangler. Plus it's super capable off-road and has good payload. But I knew that the breakover angle wasn't ideal. And I know that where YouTube girlfriend wants to take this thing, that could be an issue. Plus, I remember a couple years ago, I tried to convince her to get a Tacoma to replace her Buick, but you really didn't want a pickup truck, did you?
I did not handle that suggestion very well.
No, you didn't.
I did not want to park a truck in downtown Seattle.
That's true. And so even though I was really digging the Gladiator Mojave, it hit the chopping block pretty quick, which means that the desert storming Raptor, that was a no-go. The diesel-powered Chevy Colorado ZR2, which I actually have a soft spot for, ain't gonna happen. And the Tacoma TRD Pro, yeah, wasn't an option. Okay, so then my colleagues and trusty dusty friends Max and Squid came up with another option, the Land Rover Defender 110. And Squid clung on to his unreliable Disco full of electrical gremlins for way too long. And ever since I've known him, he's loved Land Rovers. And so, believe it or not, he thought it would be a great pick for you, YouTube girlfriend.
Is that the one that Doug DeMiro just did the review on?
This is the new 2020 Land Rover Defender.
You thought it looked like what?
A Honda Pilot.
No! God, please, no! No!
Roast her down below. Okay, and by the way, if you're not following her on Insta, go check her out. I'll link to her Instagram, YouTube girlfriend, down in the description, and go give her a follow, because why not? And so now you know what she thinks it looks like. And my boy Max, who is one of the best artists that I know, thought that this Land Rover was one of the most beautiful rigs that he's ever laid eyes on. So with their guidance, I cautiously entertained the idea of a new Defender 110, because let's be honest, it's one sexy beast. I hope she didn't hear that. And plus, we all know that these rigs are extremely capable when they work. Except what was kind of baffling to me was the fact that they chose to build it on a unibody chassis. And it still has that lethargic air suspension that it's not if, but when it dies, it pretty much totals the whole car in the older generations. But luckily, the 2020s come with a warranty that I'm sure we would put to very good use, because this thing is absolutely loaded with tech. You want a supercharged and turbocharged engine? Well, this thing has it on an inline 6. Yes, a supercharger and a turbocharger. I mean, what could go wrong?
Check engine light with 167 miles on the vehicle.
And the way that I look at it, I could see us owning one with a warranty, but man, those things are going to drop in price like a stock market crash when they're out of warranty. And since I know YouTube girlfriend wants to keep me around and this rig around for a long time, you know, when both of our warranties expire, that made it pretty easy for me to choose to hard pass on the D110, even though it is a beautiful rig. Okay, so you're glad that I didn't get you the D110 like Doug DeMiro got himself, right?
Even though it was the same color as my vest,
Yes.
I am extremely happy that you did not pick that.
And that's the thing, is that the engineers and everybody on the design team, they pick that color. And so it is actually a good idea sometimes to, if you're buying a vehicle brand new, to get the press color, because usually, especially on higher spec cars like Lambos or Ferraris, if you get the exact spec that was the press release vehicle, it usually is valued a little bit more down the line. Okay, so as you can tell, hard pass on the D110. That was a good job by me. But the problem is then that got me thinking about the 4Runner TRD Pro. Now, I've always loved these trucks, especially in the Voodoo Blue. But then again, I'm a sucker for blue cars, trucks, and SUVs, so it kind of makes sense. But that Voodoo Blue is one of the best blues of all time. And the thing about 4Runners is that they've been a top pick for overlanding and off-roading for decades. Plus, YouTube girlfriend's best friend has a black 4Runner.
She does.
And we've been out with it multiple times, and we really like it.
We've hit the trails, and she drives like a beast. It's a more than capable rig.
So it made sense that, you know, that would be at the top of the list for vehicles that we would get as the perfect overlanding rig for her.
Definitely is a contender, but not a defender.
That was the last vehicle. So the contender 4Runner, right? Plus, this latest generation TRD Pro features Fox racing shocks, Toyota's multi-terrain select system, and the thing that really gets me is the fact that the aftermarket network is so huge for the 4Runner. I really thought that it was gonna be the winner. But man, when I went and test drove one, the interior, well, not only does it feel cheap, but it feels extremely dated. Seriously, it's definitely not what you'd call state-of-the-art, but when I got in, I felt like I had teleported at least 10 years back in time. And since we're gonna spend a lot of time inside the vehicle driving it, I couldn't move forward with the Yoda. So I'm sorry, the 4Runner didn't fit the bill.
Good choice. Although I do like the Yoda.
You do? Would you have been sad if this was a Yoda, or would you have been happy?
I still would have been happy, but I wouldn't be as excited as I am about the Jeep.
Which brings us to the vehicle that's behind us. And I landed on the 2021 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon with the optional EcoDiesel. And although it is probably the best Wrangler Jeep has ever built, I'll be the first one to admit that this thing sucks on the road. They don't handle well, they have the aerodynamics of a brick, and the ergonomics are just subpar. And it just doesn't feel like the pavement performance was a top priority for Chrysler. I mean, let's just say, It ain't no Buick. But that being said, I had to keep in mind that this is an adventure vehicle first and foremost. And that's where this puppy really shines. These things are built to clear the Rubicon Trail in stock form. Wait, do you think that we could do the Rubicon Trail in my 911?
I mean, we can give it a shot.
Really?
Yeah, toys are like rules, right? They're meant to be broken.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say that I shouldn't even think about it, but that
Is ideal.
And when I started researching Wranglers, it was easy to tell that this thing was the GOAT. It's the platform that all other manufacturers try to compete with. And most of the times, they don't get even close. Plus the fact that they've been building these things since World War II means that this is a tried and true recipe that's as good as grandma's chocolate chip cookies. Oh, and the civilian Jeep, or CJ, essentially created the SUV market on its own. So learning all this, plus the fact it wins pretty much every SUV of the Year award every single year, I knew that just like her, this Jeep was the one. But unlike her, I had 3 options as far as it came to the engine. You see, there was the 270 horsepower 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, the tried and true 285 horsepower 3.6 liter V6, and the 260 horsepower 3-liter turbo diesel V6, which also has 442 pound-feet of torque. Now, I know that diesel is kind of a dirty word, you know, especially after the Dieselgate and everything that happened just a few years ago with Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes. So believe it or not, at first, I wasn't actually interested in the diesel, but I knew that that torque is what pushes the vehicle down the road. And for our application, I felt like it was probably the ideal choice. And although the 2021 model year was the second year offering for this diesel, this engine's been available in the Ram and the Grand Cherokee since 2014. So I trusted by now that Chrysler's been able to work out all the issues that they've had over the years with this diesel. Now, the one downside of ordering the diesel is that you could get it with any transmission you wanted as long as it was an automatic. And although I think the auto is the right choice for us, and what is nice is that it comes with the updated version of the ZF 8-speed transmission, man, it would be so much fun to drive a manual Wrangler with a diesel with all of that torque. A boy can dream, right? And since there weren't any diesels available when I put in the order for this rig, I drove a Rubicon with that 3.6 liter gas motor. And now, having driven the EcoDiesel as well, I can definitely say that that power plant turns what is already a great Jeep into something truly special. And with the announcement of the Hemi-powered Wrangler, I'd still stick with the decision of getting the diesel. For overlanding, it's definitely the ideal spec. Okay, so I picked the right rig?
Yes.
Okay, what is second in your mind?
A G-Wagon.
I didn't even consider a G-Wagon. I would have thought the 4Runner, the TRD Pro, would have been your second choice. A G-Wagon?
A G-Wagon.
Really? Well, new, that wouldn't have been the $60,000 question. It would have been the $200,000 question. But for 60 grand, you could get, I don't think you get a 15 or newer, which is the ones that you want, but you could probably get like a 14 for 65, 70. That would be pretty cool.
I think I'll keep this one.
Okay, maybe I'll get a G-Wagon.
What would your pick have been?
You know, I probably would have picked the Raptor.
Was that even on your list?
It wasn't because you didn't want to pick up, but that's what I probably would have gotten.
But that would be for you, not your pick for me.
No, exactly.
Okay,
This was my pick for you. Like after doing all the research, I think the unlimited Rubicon EcoDiesel, it's pretty hard to beat that right now. I mean, that's probably the best package that you can get for the JL chassis right now.
Right now.
That's what you got. The ideal question of the day, is it your ideal overlanding platform to start out with and then possibly mod in the future
Am I
on
saying
future videos?
yes to this Jeep?
You are. Would you like to slap an ideal sticker on your brand new ideal Jeep?
Let's do it. Ah! No pressure.
Nice.
Planted.
Okay, you guys, I hope that gave you a little bit more color into the thought process on getting my fiance, YouTube girlfriend, her ideal platform to start overlanding with. I think this thing is absolutely perfect and something that we're both going to really enjoy the experiences with in the coming months and years, and something I would like to start building on the channel. How about you?
Let's do it.
Really?
Let's go.
Okay. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you're new here, my name's Brad Danger. This is YouTube Girlfriend. Please subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and maybe you're gonna see a little bit more Jeep content in the coming days, weeks, years. So definitely, if you like overlanding, Jeeps, cars, trucks, please subscribe and keep living
The ideal lifestyle.